What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one, and I just finished watching Embattled, starring Stephen Dorff, Darren Mann, and Donald Faison. First of all, I felt that it was time to change up the line of movies that I review. Not completely, but I just felt like lately I've been doing a lot of horror and slasher films and, psychological thrillers. And I thought to myself, when's the last time that you did or watched a sports drama, a good sports drama? I think the last time that I've watched a good sports drama was Creed 1, Creed 2, maybe as far back as Southpaw, right? So I gave this one a try. Watched the trailer. The trailer pulled me in, won me over. The question is this up to par with Creed 1, Creed 2, Southpaw? Now, I already understand that the quality level is not going to be the same. That was a given in the trailer. So I'm not, no marks for that. But will I walk out of this with something to think about? Is this going to leave an impression on me after I watch this? That's the huge question. Let's see what happens. All right. Now, Embattled, for those who don't know, for those who are not aware, and you're probably not. You're probably not. I can understand. Embattled is about a young man named Jet, who sort of grew up within the UFC life and later on trained to be a UFC fighter. That's because he's trying to impress his famous dad, Cash Boykins, the one and only Cash Boykins. So with that said, Cash and the mother years later now have their own separate lives. They're divorced, right? Due to issues that happened when Jet was younger. Now, because of that, Jet and Cash have their differences. But they had to sort of downplay that because, they had to keep it professional. The dad's training the son. They can't think about that at the time. Until one day at a party, Jet witnesses or bears witness to Cash slapping the hell out of one of his stepsons in his new family. This scene set something off in Jet. It made him snap and remember when he used to get slapped like that. And with that anger built up inside him, he just lashed out at Cash and tried to beat the crap out of Cash. Now keep in mind, the only reason Cash slapped this kid is because the kid wouldn't take the training serious. He was trying to see what the little kid had as far as his hands. And the kid was, goofing around, being a kid, and Cash got upset for some reason. So yeah, I don't blame Jet for lashing out. Now, of course, somebody recorded this, uploaded it to YouTube or whatever, some kind of social media, and it went viral quick. And because it went viral, this egged on a match between father and son. And there goes the movie. positives. Off the back, man, I gotta say this. Honestly, the last battle, the last fight in this movie was everything. That fight was everything. It was so intense. You had no idea who was going to win this. You have no idea by watching it. At first, they kind of play around like they're going to give you the predictable end. But then it starts to switch up, which I really loved. I really appreciated that. I think at one point, I stood up out my seat. I was sitting down watching this on my big TV. I stood up out my seat and was pacing back and forth like I was watching an actual match on CNN or whatever that channel is. The sports channel. I'm sorry, sports channel. Like I was invested. I was in there. That's how good that match was, man. All right. Another thing. I really enjoyed the dynamic between father and son, between this father and son in particular. Because like I said earlier, they are indeed two different types of people. For one thing, you have the son, Jet, who really is a good person deep down inside. And it shows on the outside too. He really is a good person who's just trying to impress his dad, who was out of his life for so many years. But he just, unfortunately, he begins to remember why his dad was out of his life. He really became a good person due to the fact that he has a little brother who has Down syndrome. And for most of his life, he's had to take care of his little brother. That made him who he is, really. It really saved him as well from being his father, which was a cool point to put in the movie. And so there's his father, which his father as a character is a complete subject all by itself, man. Let me tell you. Okay, this is going to be a positive by itself too. This is the reason I thought of the word Gratred. Yeah, I'm bringing that word back. Gratred. Okay, because this would be your Gratred moment. Stephen Dorff's character. Stephen Dorff has been known to embody the role of the typical a-hole, the standard a-hole, okay, in a lot of movies. He just hasn't had his credit for it yet, like I believe he should. All right, he hasn't had the credit due to him, because it's so many movies I could point out where he's almost too good at playing that role. Okay, almost too. It's almost scary, and he doesn't show any slack in this role as well. The dude is rude, a little racist, not too racist. There's a little racism there. He's sexist. The way he talks to his son is just, it's like his son is a grown man, the same age as him, in the bar, and they're having a drink. It just some vile things he said to his own son, man. If you're not used to language like this, or somebody talking to their son like this, you're going to be pissed at his character. You are. But that's a good thing, because you need a character like this in a movie like this. Okay? So pretty much Stephen Dorff did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. Alright. Negatives. Not a lot. But one negative that comes to mind off the back, there were a lot of parts in the movie where it really didn't make sense. They really weren't accurate. I'll give you an example. There's a part or a scene where Cash and Jet are riding down the street. Of course, Cash, being the great guy he is, he's drinking and driving nonchalantly. Son sees a problem with this. Cash starts to break down how you play it off and how you should be chill when drinking and driving. You know, while breaking this down to Jet, those blue and red lights go off in the back. So they're actually getting pulled over now. They get pulled over. The first thing Cash thinks to do is get up out the car and walk towards the cops without them telling him to do so. I don't know about you, but in my experience with the law or just, you know, knowing how things work, you don't automatically get up out the car, exit the vehicle, if you have not been told to exit the vehicle. Okay? That's a known fact. But their excuse is when he comes back to the car that, you know, all that what he just told Jet doesn't apply anyways. Not to Cash Boykins, because he's Cash Boykins and he can do that. I call crap on that. I call bull crap on that. I don't care if you're a celebrity. Some cops are still not going to play that. You getting out of the car and they didn't tell you to get out of the car, things might happen to you. Celebrity and all, okay? So that didn't fly. That part didn't fly with me. That it just, I can maybe shake my head. They could have done that scene a little different. He could have stayed in the car and still did the same scene with the same effect to it. Didn't have to go through all that. But anyways, a huge negative for me is this movie. It really dragged out the drama. When it was time to get sappy, they got really sappy. Okay, real quick. And it didn't really like add or feel like a necessary thing to, you know, put in the movie. I mean, I understand a little bit of drama here and there because it is a sports drama. But it has to fit. Really, what they should have been focusing on was more UFC action. More of that. They had a little bit of that here and there before they got to the big fight towards the end. But it really didn't make much of an impact like the last fight. It really wasn't like as powerful as maybe your fight scenes in Creed or Rocky or something like that. It really didn't, you know, they really needed to lay a little more heavy on the fighting. That's my whole point to that. That was terribly missing from this movie. At least the beginning of the movie. You know, they could have went into more depth with that. And with that said, I'm giving it an I cool. That's right. It gets an I cool. That's because that was the only big issue I had. That was the only big issue I had was the lack of fighting. You know, other than that, this is a good movie. Honestly, it's a very good movie. Steven Dorff did his thing. Darren Mann, look out for Darren Mann. He's actually a young director himself. I've never heard of this guy, but he's a young director with some movies already out. Hopefully, you know, his movies get better and better as time goes on. But look out for that guy. All right. Need you to like. Push that like button. Push that like button, please. Share. Subscribe. And I'm out. Oh, yes. By the way, the whole father and son match, that's never really happened in real life, right? Like UFC or boxing has never done this. Why is that? Just something to think about.